So Rob, we're in Farmingdale, Long Island. Where you're going to hit the stage in a few hours, this Crazy Donkey show. Now this is just a single one-off tour.
Just a warm-up, yeah.
What made you say, all right, let's do one show, and why Long Island?
I don't know. We had a show, originally the dates were for Canada. We were doing Canadian Carnage. And so we wanted to have something just close to Eastern Canada. And we thought it'd be cool to do a New York show. And then, we looked into avails. We started kind of putting it together pretty late. We started looking into avails. There wasn't really anything in the city. So, our dude was our booking agent, Scott Sokol, was just like, hey, man, fucking, how about Long Island? And we're like, sure. Haven't headlined there in 14 years, but could be cool. So we booked it here, and here we are.
This is a call to arms. Will you stand beside me?
There's all these rumors of the Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer tour going around. Yeah. So Kerry King, I have the quote here. He said, maybe us, Metallica, Megadeth, I think he even threw in Anthrax, and I said, in this day and age, I know we had that time together, but how do you leave out Machine Head? Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
It was awesome. I mean, we were totally stoked to read that. It's, Kerry's our friend, and, the fact that he's going out there, pushing us for that is awesome. We aren't going to do it. We're not going to be able to be a part of it. We have to stop touring. It's been talked about, and we have to pass on it. As much as it would be awesome to tour with all those bands, we have to start writing our next record, and we just need to stop touring. We're going to wrap up. We've got this run we were doing, this Megadeth run leads into Metallica, which ends with, for us, which is one of our biggest high points in our history. We're doing a home show with Metallica in their hometown. This is the band that, this is the reason we play music. This is a huge moment for us. It's massive, and we're so honored and stoked. And to have our last American date just end on such a high note like that, and then in Europe we're going to do a headliner and wrap that up, and to just leave it on those high notes. That's what we want to end the blackening cycle with, these high notes, and not kind of drag it on. And we just want to start writing. We started writing about 3 weeks ago, and we just got the bug now. We started writing. It was like, this is, I wasn't bummed to go on tour, but I was like, fuck, I wish we could just stay home and start, writing and getting into this. So we're really, the blackening it's been amazing for us. But just those rehearsals where we started throwing around the new riffs, it felt good to know, like, okay, we're moving on from the blackening now. We're looking forward now. We were in this moment for so long, just riding this insane roller coaster, going, Metallica and Slipknot, So, and it was awesome. We're ready to move on though. The blackening is, we're winding it up, and we're looking forward to the future.
I wanted to ask you about a few of the songs on the record, actually. Let's start with Halo. You seem to be a little pissed off about Christianity or organized religion in general. Was there a specific incident that sparked that song, or it's just your general feelings towards it?
Well, it's not really towards Christians. It's more towards organized religion. I don't believe in that stuff. Especially at the time when I was writing the lyrics to that song, there was a lot of, George Bush was still the president. There was still a very big, Christian right influence on America. They were trying to introduce, what was that thing there? Intelligent design, saying that, the things that can't be explained, well, that's God. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of those people were behind the war and kind of pushing it, especially the large organizations and the corporations, like the Christian corporations, and we just weren't feeling it, man.
So that's your Christian conspiracy?
Yeah,
reference?
Definitely, for sure. And they were having a big effect on the way things were going, and it was working, and we weren't into it, man. We were totally not into it. You know, I know a lot of my friends are Christians. I got a lot of friends who are Satanists, and I don't really judge someone for their beliefs or whatever, and most of those people, you know, felt very strongly the same way I do. You know, they were just regular people, but it was this kind of organization that was kind of making things, taking things in a bad way, in my opinion, in our opinion. And so we sang about it, and that is what Halo's about. You know, with a really catchy hook in there. It's great because so many people sing that song, and I meet all these people, and I'm like, oh, I love that song, and then, you know, I tell them what it's about, and they're like, whoa, fuck. That's what gets me. It's that gateway drug, you know, and that's what music is in a lot of ways. You know, music gets you that. I find, you know, having done a lot of drugs and having listened to a lot of music and made a lot of music, you know, that's the thing that I find is like it is kind of like it's like a drug for me. You know, I get a high off of it. I get a high off of making music. I get a high off of playing music. I get a high off of watching people get off on our music. You know, like that's a huge drug for me, and it's, you know, for sure one of the healthier drugs. And you know.
Can I ask what your drug of choice is otherwise?
I don't really do too much now because, you know, just touring and stuff. You know, I gotta stay on it. You know, I went through a big speed phase. I was really into crank. You know, I was actually selling crank for a while. I did a little dabbling with heroin and kind of went down that road for a while. And I luckily got out of that, but I was really into speed, man. Like I was really just to kind of, you know, I was pretty introverted as a kid, and like especially as a teenager. And once I discovered that, it really like brought me out of my shell. I'd sit there and just play guitar for 4 hours, and, you know, working on one arpeggio for 3 hours, you know, so shit like that. And you know, I mean, it had bad effects, but it had a lot of good effects too, man. I had a lot of good times, and I wouldn't change it for the world, man. It was fun.
Last question I got to ask, and I know you guys are coming up a long cycle, but when can we expect a new album from Machine Head?
We're planning on going in at the end of next year to record. So that's the kind of the mark that we set. We're going to start writing, and when we get back, we wrap up, and you know, the record will be hopefully out at the beginning of 2011, which, you know, I know seems like a long ways away, but considering that we've still got about 4 months worth of touring ahead of us, we wrap up in March, at the end of March, and then, you know, writing. And we don't really like to write on the road. We've never been good at writing on the road. Like it's better when we're all just sitting in the room, fucking try this, try that, you know. And so yeah, so we're shooting for the end of the year, beginning of next year, the record will come out.